stomp just got me. Are you doing this again?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Night Shift Podcast.
Hey.
Anthony just told me for the first time I just heard the term waffle stomp.
Yeah.
Can you use it in a sentence?
It's like when you're at someone's house and you ask to use their shower and you accidentally take a shit in the shower. You know, we've all been there.
Yeah.
And then you have to waffle stomp that shit down the drain, you know? Speaking of terms, do you want to start this episode off real bad? Because I can tell you about foot pussy. That's on the back burner.
Holy shit! That's on the list, huh?
That's on the list?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have no idea what that is.
It's not that big of a deal.
Okay, no, I'm just.
But you.
It's okay. So
I haven't told you.
I have a notes page of
Mm-hmm.
like things that we want to do for the channel. It has like all of our creative ideas and topics that we used to tackle on the podcast. And in my notes it just says foot pussy with a question mark.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell me.
So foot pussy is a term used by like people with foot fetishes
Okay.
to basically describe when a girl puts her feet together.
I knew exactly what it was.
Um,
Wow.
And uses it to jerk him
I
off.
hate it.
They call that a foot pussy. Yeah. So that's a foot pussy. I just imagine somebody like, oh, those guys who made that horror podcast put a new episode out. I haven't listened to these guys in months. Let's check it out. And then it's just like, foot pussy!
Waffle stomping turds.
Welcome back to the night shift. I gotta say though, I'm living for the new like
Yeah,
format.
it's nice.
Just kicking back, just talking
We don't
with
hang
my
out
boy.
as much as we'd like to anyway. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's just kind of nice, you know.
Yeah. Just
And
get down
honestly, the
talk.
fact that we got a hot tub to record in is really nice.
It
too.
is really nice. I wonder how it's gonna come back on the audio. I don't know.
Yeah,
It sounds clean.
It
right?
does,
No?
yeah.
Weird.
The only thing that worries me is, you know, most people wear shorts in hot tubs.
I like the way the jet feels on me nuts. I like the way it batters them around.
Like some Popeye's chicken, we just batter that shit up.
This is a raunchy episode.
You feeling raunchy today, huh?
I
Come in wearing a new shirt.
I
and you got
didn't-
a little raunchy on the
I
inside.
didn't beat my dick today before I came in to record. So my mom's like, "Oh, you put out a new episode. I'll make sure to check it out."
Oh, dude. Okay.
God, don't.
Yeah, I can't drink water on this
Please.
episode.
Please don't.
Hold on the mic.
I have coworkers that listen to this. I have a coworker that listens to this, which if you're listening, you know who you are.
I have to hide this whole channel from
Yeah.
absolutely everybody at my job.
There's certain people that I work with that I'm okay with knowing about it.
I think I'd get fired.
Yeah, my boss doesn't know about my
I don't think your
channel.
boss would give a shit.
I don't think she would, but I don't want her to watch my content.
Yeah, my boss would be like, "Hey, you know how I give you a raise pretty often?
I'm gonna take all of those
We're gonna
away.
Stop."
We're gonna undo your raises and put you back. In fact, we're gonna go lower than your starting pay.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, have fun with your little podcast, bitch. He just slaps you.
They do know that I do a podcast.
They just don't know what it's called
Yeah,
or
and
what
they
it's
don't know
about.
what it's about.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, now you can tell them
Because-
it's about waffle stomping hot shits into foot pussies.
do we have a topic today, or is this just?
Do we ever have a topic? I mean, I want to tell you about my dream.
Ooh.
If you want to get into that.
Yeah, let me hear it.
All right, let me pull up my my handy
yeah.
dandy notebook.
Wait, we just had it. You just pulled out of your ass. You're not wearing shorts.
Yeah.
You just keep that in there.
Yeah.
That's an iPhone 10 XL, dude.
I just use it for my dream journal. I use an iPhone 3G for my actual phone.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's better for the environment.
All right, so I'm gonna try to like recap this as like accurately as possible. I had this dream like 2 weeks ago, or something like that.
Yeah.
Whenever it was, I messaged you. It's been a little bit.
I
at least
do
a week.
vaguely remember that text.
Yeah, it was like at least a week ago. So I'm a little fuzzy, but I took some notes, interesting notes. But I took these when I was very like, it was early. I was just waking up. Let me get a drink of water real quick.
Oh, we're gonna sip together, buddy. Hydrated, the number one hydrated podcast. Ooh.
All right. So, hopefully some of this comes back to me while I'm telling you, so I'm not just like reading this shit off.
I'm gonna close my eyes so I can imagine it.
So I was in like a weird school in like it was in a forest, right?
Okay.
Like a very like heavy like you seen Twilight?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a very Twilight-esque forest.
They have a lot of shades of blue.
without the blue filter.
Okay.
It was
got
like
it, got it.
a Twilight New Moon forest, not like a
Ooh,
Twilight
okay, so
forest.
shades of orange.
No, just like clean greens.
Okay,
you know?
I've never actually. Yeah, yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
You've never wait. You've never seen
I've
Twilight?
I watched Cosmonaut. Watched Twilight.
I want to talk about Twilight after this. So I was in like this really weird school that looked like very it looked very like cathedral, like old fashioned
Ooh,
school on the
yeah.
outside, but on the inside it was just a normal fucking like
Oh.
white hallway, like regular
Lame.
fucking school.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really weird. So a certain person who I'm not gonna name on here, but just so you know who I'm talking about, look at the second bullet point on there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Huh.
that person was there. He's a person that you and I know. I can at least say he. I'm not gonna like name names, but a certain person, I don't know why,
Yeah.
was there, and he was like actively hunting me, and he had like I mean, I can guess why, but he was like actively hunting me with like a group of goons, like a group of like high school goons. Yeah, it was a bit odd.
Yeah.
But also I was with some random girl. I have no idea who. I remember nothing about her. I just remember there was a girl there who was like with me. And there was like a monster that looked like a Wendigo basically. It was very massive, like 10 feet tall, maybe taller, and it was like, like the like the deer skull face with like the antlers and like the red eyes and shit, and like just a big fucking like Wendigo basically, except its skin was like very like it like moved around, like its skin like moved around like all weird and shit. Like it was very weird looking. That thing was like basically just chasing us too. um and so we ended up outside, and there was like a graveyard that had like there was basically like platforming in this graveyard, like a video game. It got very like first person video game for a minute. It was really weird. This dream changed format so many times. So we're running from this thing, like it's right fucking behind us, and for some reason I just could not run fast to save my life. It was like my stamina was depleted or something, and so I'm like climbing up like ledges and shit and having like a really hard time climbing these ledges, and I have to help this like random girl up and stuff. And then yeah, that's right. It was like so like video gamey that I remember at one point I was hanging onto a wall, and I had to do like that Assassin's Creed like backwards jump where you jump and grab another ledge and everything.
Which I've seen you do in real life.
Yeah.
At the Ninja Warrior course.
Did I actually? That sounds
I think you
right.
attempted to.
Know. Who knows? I don't know how agile
That was a
I
long
am.
time ago.
But
You did better than most.
yeah, the only person that did better than me was the dude there that is in really fucking good shape and does fucking karate and shit. So, like,
Yes.
he was doing really good.
I mean,
but
our tall cowboy friend did really good too.
he did pretty good. Yeah.
It was like them two, you and me.
Yeah.
The only part that I really couldn't do was the fucking like we spread out against the wall. I'd have to like jump through it.
Yeah.
Couldn't do that shit.
That part was fucking
Shit
hard.
was hard.
But so we were crawling through, basically it was like imagine like a wall of like dirt and rock and shit like that, and there was a tunnel carved out. We were crawling through that, but there was like it was open on one side and there was moss hanging over, so we were pretty much obscured while we were crawling through this tunnel essentially, but we could kind of see outside of it, and there was like a street, and all of those like jockey dudes that were like chasing us were out there playing band equipment, like trumpets and like horns and like drums and shit, and they weren't playing it though, they were just making a lot of fucking noise, just like being really fucking loud, and they were like looking for us, I guess. So the tunnel led into the school. I don't remember exactly how I got in, but I don't remember this part at all, but we were behind the wall and I could see through like a crack, and there were a bunch of elementary school kids, like really young kids, in the hallway singing TikTok songs, which the only TikTok songs I know are like ones that I hear off of like Caitlin's phone, because she'll just be like sitting in bed like watching TikToks, and I just hear the music and shit, and they were singing one of those songs. I don't remember which one.
I bet it's Backyard Boy.
I don't fucking know, but just a bunch of kids like just singing a TikTok song. It was weird, and we were like watching them. And then let's see what happened after that. So that guy, the one I mentioned at the beginning, came out, and I remember he looked directly at where I was looking through and like made eye contact with me, and he pulled out a fucking Batman grappling hook and shot it through the wall and pulled me out of the wall.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's very unrealistic.
Yeah.
Sizes.
So then I had to fight him and 2 of his goons. And you know how usually, I don't know if this happens to you a lot. What?
I know exactly what you're about to say and I have a story to retaliate on this as well. How punches in dreams are usually really shitty,
Yes.
but yours was actually really good.
Yes.
I had a dream about a week ago where I got in a fight with some goons in my dream.
Really?
And my punches were also really fucking good for the first time.
For the first time ever.
Ever.
I've never thrown a good punch in my dream before.
Same.
So, okay, so I started fighting him and his goons. And that's what the weird part though was that usually it's more like your arms are like limp and you can't like properly hit, but this time I was hitting hard. You could like hear that shit, like it was connecting. It was like, but they weren't really like hurting from it. There was like something kind of like inhuman about it where like I'd like deck the shit out of one of them and they would like go down, like I hit the hell out of them, and then they'd kind of just get back up and just look at me like it was really fucking weird.
Yeah.
So so I'm fighting these guys. It's going okay, from what I remember.
Yeah.
That particular one who I'm not naming, I was just like hitting him in the head a bunch of times, and he was kind of like a bobblehead. Like I was just hitting his head, and he was just kind of like.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. I was hitting him hard. There was some anger behind it, which is interesting because I don't feel like there's a lot of anger there, but like I guess maybe there is. I don't know. I don't know. But then when I say giant, I mean like 10, 15 feet tall.
Okay.
Pigman. A human-ish man with a very large, round body and sort of half human, half pig face. It was like he was kind of wearing like a pig mask on the top half of his face, but it was his skin, and his skin was pig skin. It was like pink.
Okay. That sounds kind of horrifying.
It was. And he was like really greasy and like gross and everything. So he broke through the wall. I guess the ghost in your house doesn't like the story I'm telling.
Sorry, Tommy.
Sorry, Pigman. So this Pigman broke through the wall and he fucking grabbed me. He broke through one wall, grabbed me, and threw me through another wall. And this room was an old like wrestling ring.
Every gothic high school in Forest has one.
Right. Very like classic, like straight up wrestling ring, like
nice.
with the fucking
belts
and everything. Yeah, and like bleachers and like
nice.
the whole nine.
Yeah.
It was really like dark and dusty, except there were spotlights on.
Ooh, was I in the stands watching?
Arena. No one was there yet.
Damn it.
So he threw me into the ring. That's when all of the goons came in because there were like 100 of them. And they all filled up the bleachers.
Oh.
Like they were gonna watch. And so one of them, I think if I remember correctly, it was him.
Yeah, the guy.
He had the Wendigo on a leash that was like chained to the floor and was just like watching. And then the Pigman got into the ring while I was like getting myself up and recovering from being thrown through a wall. I swear I could feel all this shit too. Like I was in pain. So I got up and like dusted myself off. All the goons were chanting like pig, 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 pig.
Oh my god. Have an anxiety attack in your dream.
And so essentially I had to boss fight the Pigman.
Did you?
I did.
Did you win?
Not exactly. So I was really good at fighting for some reason, but also he was a giant Pigman. Just for the record, I'm not some professional fighter who can do these things in real life.
We just watch a lot of
stuff.
Yeah, a lot of fighty things.
So I was dodging. I was like sliding under his legs and shit like that, and like getting behind him and like hitting him and stuff. And then I would do this thing. I did it a couple of times. It was like how when you're fighting a boss, you get them past a certain point, and then you like do a special move or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like it triggers a little cutscene type move. It was like that almost, where I would get on the edge of the ring and wait for him to run at me, and then I would like flip kick him with both legs and then like land all like perfect
Daredevil
and shit.
style.
Yeah, it was really fucking cool. And I kept doing that for a little while, and then that's right. I knocked him down, and then I would get on him. There was a ref that showed up, and I tried to like
Turned into professional fighting.
pin him.
Yeah.
But the ref kept counting past 3. He was like hitting the ground. He was like 1, 2, 3.
Don't they go
4,
to 10?
and he just kept going. No, it's just 3 seconds. You just have to pin him for 3 seconds, and the ref just kept going.
I'm thinking of boxing.
I don't know.
Boxing
rules.
is 10.
I don't know, but I assume it was just like wrestling rules, even though we weren't wrestling. I don't fucking know, but he just kept counting past 3, and I was like, wait, what? And then Pigman got up and threw me off, and I had to get him down all over again. And then, so I remember how it ended. So I tried to pin him again, and then he grabbed me by the ankles with one hand because his hands were that big, both ankles, one hand, and just started like slamming me around and shit. And then he just kind of like tossed me out of the ring at the Wendigo, and I landed right in front of that. And then it kind of like stood up and like, you know, had his like claws and showed its like teeth and shit, whatever, and like growled. And I just remember getting up, and I like stretched, and I cracked my knuckles, and I wiped some blood off of my mouth, and I put my hands up and went, all right. And that's when the dream ended.
Round 2.
That's the whole dream. It just ended.
My dream was me and my girlfriend were at a Comic-Con waiting in line to meet some voice actors of like Troll Hunters, because we're both pretty big fans of that series, which if you haven't seen the animated series Troll Hunters, please God, go watch it. It looks so stupid. The advertisement is so awful, but so fucking good. Oh, it's so good. We're like waiting in line, and this huge dude just like kind of like flirts with her, and to which like I just kind of laughed because like it's kind of funny to watch people try to flirt with her.
Yeah.
But then he like smacked her butt.
Oh.
He was like really big.
Yeah.
And so it like ended up like hurting her.
Ooh.
He was like really, really big. I just got like really angry. And so like I pushed him. And then the same guy that was in your dream was in my dream. He's in a lot of my dreams.
Yeah.
Where he doesn't really do anything but like antagonize me.
Fair enough.
He never does anything. He never
there.
contributes to anything. He's always just there.
That's kind of what he was doing in mine.
It just kind of feels fire. That's it.
He didn't throw a single punch at me that I remember.
Yeah, he just kind of always just like
there.
He's just
That's
there.
weird.
Yeah, it is. And so
kind of unsettling, actually. Like just the fact that it's always like that, and then the fact that I had one like that too.
It's because that's kind of the role that person plays in my life now.
That's fair.
He's just there.
Yeah.
So he's just like, oh my gosh, like, oh, look at this. And then a bunch of other big guys showed up because I like pushed the one dude. And I was like, oh, this is happening. And in my head, I thought, I'm still not clear to like get in a fight because of my crackhead fight.
Your ticket makes it into your dream and everything.
Yeah. So I was like, fuck. And then I remember B went, well, it's a good thing it's November 6th. And I went, oh, it is. And I just fucking started knocking these guys out. Like it was the first time in my dream, because I've had like a lot of like superhero dreams. I've had like one where it was more like a Batman dream.
Yeah.
And I had like a big guy grab me by one ankle and hit me against a brick wall.
Yeah.
And the sharp pain of that into my ribs woke me up.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of Spider-Man dreams where I've like fell and hit cars, and I try to hit people and it doesn't work either. And when I've had like a few Iron Man dreams where I just shoot things, and that usually works. But punching never works.
Punching never works. Yeah.
There was no powers, no weapons. I was just angry because someone hit my girlfriend. I knocked like 4 big dudes out, and then got escorted out of the Comic-Con.
Maybe it's because you like kind of fucked a dude up recently, so you
so I like have this idea that I like can now.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. But yeah,
weird dreams.
What do you think about that dream?
That is weird.
Was that worth saving?
I think it's just kind of weird that I can actually like visualize most of it in my head.
Yeah, it was very.
It has
specific.
a very nice color palette.
Yeah, it was very like
greens and grays and browns.
Yeah, definitely.
Really nice.
You see it.
I really do. Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's that D&D link.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, since we're on the subject of dreams too, I have a surprising amount of dreams that have to do with like situations like that where I'm trapped somewhere and trying to escape. Essentially,
it's just because we're very creative and
Yeah.
That's like, you know, kind of like little fantasy scenarios like that.
Well,
are
one
common
that
in
I
that.
had one time, I don't remember it too well. I just remember like a little bit of detail from it. I was like, you know, when you're driving kind of like out of Lubbock and you're just in the middle of
It's
nowhere.
like flat
It's
as
just
shit.
flat and there's
Yeah,
nothing and it's like nighttime and shit.
kind of like that.
It was, but okay, so imagine that, right? But imagine stop in the middle of the road, let's say to the right, just like 100 miles that way into the middle of like nothing, right?
Uh-huh.
That's essentially where I was.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like some kind of weird compound where they sent old like carnival parts, and a bunch of dudes had like turned it into like a like
Battle ring?
slave trade thing.
Oh, not a battle ring.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this one wasn't nearly as like cool. It was a lot more like desperate and scrappy. It was very like The Last of Us 2 in the way I was like dealing with things.
Speaking of Last of Us 2, I had a dream recently where it was very like apocalyptic.
Hmm.
Because kind of where I'm at in life right now, like I'm significantly like less depressed. I'm pretty like happy with the way
Yeah.
things are going. It kind of like horrified me.
Yeah.
Like I woke up for a minute and couldn't distinguish what was real
I
and
haven't
what
had that in
wasn't,
a while.
and I was just like really worried for like all my loved ones, and I was just like,
Yeah.
what is okay and what isn't. And I don't really remember what part of it was horrifying, but I remember like a specific some part of it. I don't remember. It was like supernatural. I don't remember if it was like zombies or aliens or something, or just really violent.
Yeah.
But like I was just extremely uncomfortable when I woke up and I had so much anxiety. And the only really specific thing I remember about the dream was that, you know, that black flannel we both have?
Mm-hmm.
I was wearing that, and I had to rip the sleeve to tie it around something because I was bleeding out.
Damn. That's intense.
But I remember it was like a situation where it was like everything was normal, and then it wasn't. Shit hit the fan. It was like the first few minutes of shit hitting the
Yeah,
fan,
that's like
which
the
is easily
scariest
the
part.
scariest part.
Absolutely.
And so I think I was like a car accident or something, but also might have been. I think it was just because I had like heard some gunshots around my neighborhood
Yeah.
right
And it
before I
just
went to
had your brain
bed,
going.
and so I was like,
But no,
So-
this one that I had, this was a few years ago, so I don't remember it too well. But basically, I just remember kind of like waking up there. I was like in a cage essentially, not like a small one, but like I was in like a
Yeah.
cage that was made out of like fence pieces and like those like carnival ride walls that are really like colorful and have
Uh-huh.
lights on them and stuff. It was made out of like that, right? And I was just chilling in there, and there was like a dude outside of the cell with a fucking like assault rifle, like standing guard. And I guess I should preface that in this dream I killed like 3 people, and it's the only dream that I really remember ever actually like killing anyone in, which I guess is good that I don't dream about like murdering people a lot. But I straight killed people in this dream, and it was violent too. I don't know where the fuck it came from, but like I was terrified because I was locked in a cage and there was like a dude with a gun, and I was like, all right, I need to fucking get out of here. And I don't remember exactly how it happened, but I like reached through at some point when he like got close to it and just started like choking him. And it wasn't like a movie or a video game where you do it for like 5 seconds and they fucking just die, because that's not how that shit works.
It's like
I was
a
holding
30-second thing.
I was holding that dude for like a solid minute while he was like struggling and like trying to grab at me and was like choking and shit, and it was violent.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, this is the part that like doesn't make any sense. I know I didn't take his gun, which doesn't make any sense. There had to have been a reason why. I just don't know why, but I didn't have a gun. I picked up a piece of broken glass and I stabbed another guy in the face like 3 times. And I
Oof.
remember like he saw me and pointed his gun at me and was like, "Hey," he got out, and I like jumped on him and just started like stabbing him in the face.
I don't know anyone who would stab in the face.
I was
I would think like throat, chest, but like face.
I was stabbing him like in the eye sockets
Oh,
and shit.
fuck,
It was
dog.
brutal, dude. And I like remember the way his face looked and like the blood sprayed on my face
Still a
and
very
stuff. It was,
raunchy episode.
dude, it was rough. Like
Yeah.
I woke up very shaken from it because it
Yeah.
was very real. And I remember in the dream being like, I just need to kill him as quickly as possible so I can like get away and
Someone
like,
stabbed him in the face 9 times.
yeah, like it was just like 3 or 4, but like, and then I remember at that point I like got out and just like took off running, and it was just pure darkness. I was just, like I said, in the middle of nowhere. It was just
Yeah.
flat, nothing at all for miles. And I just remember running for a really long time, and at some point there was a gas station, and then when I got there, it was like closed, and so I was like, oh fuck. And then there was one dude inside who was like closing it or something. It was like all the lights were off and he was like leaving. I was like, oh my god, there's someone here. Thank God. You need to like call somebody, you need to do something. And I remember he looked at me and was like, he like pulled out like a fucking walkie-talkie or something, and he was like, hey, I found him. And so I just remember like pushing him through the window and like grabbing something and like hitting him a bunch of times with it, and then was just like, fuck, like
Yeah, that sounds like a scary fucking dream.
it was just really scrappy
Yeah,
and violent,
definitely.
and like they were just like hunting me down and shit. It was brutal, dude. That was probably one of the like most like surreal dreams that I've had, I guess.
Yeah.
Like it was very
I
like,
have a lot of dreams that have stuck with me. But two of my favorites. This was one. I was 16 or so. This was in the middle of my like Spider-Man cosplay days. I used to do it a lot for different places in my hometown.
Yeah.
And my little brother was playing Overwatch on my PlayStation. I had like passed out on the bed.
yeah,
When we get him on the show, we'll ask him.
love me some Slade.
But I remember I, in the dream, had jumped off this building and I was swinging around town chasing this car that had been stolen.
Right.
And I slipped on something or like missed a web shot or something and like fell, and my back hit this taxi and it shattered the windshield. And I woke up, I jumped out of bed and went, oh shit. And then Slade looked at me and I went, I gotta go back and get him. And I went back to sleep.
Did you go back
I
into
don't
the same
remember the
dream?
second part.
Damn.
And I remember I had this Iron Man dream once where I was going up this elevator. It was kind of like there were two really big skyscrapers together, and I could clearly see through the other one, even though it was really far away. And so I was going up this elevator, and I was in a suit, and it was really nice. And I saw all these guys with guns going in this other elevator in the other building, and I went, ah, yeah, that's the one. And so I had sat down on a desk, and like the floor opened up and gave me just the boots of the suit, and like the desk gave me one glove. And so I like took a running start and jumped through my window and boosted and went into the other window, but I used the glove to like block my face, and then I like slid in and I like shot one dude, and the rest of the armor flew into the building.
Oh,
and, like,
that's cool as
attached.
fuck.
And I went into the elevator and went down into like this basement, and the basement was like a weapons dealing place. Like, it was this huge white room with like guns and tanks and all this shit. And I remember just like going through that room, just like, because if I punched people, it didn't work. So just blasting people.
That's fucking
and
awesome.
it was dope as shit. It was definitely Mark 43.
I wish I had more cool dreams like that, but instead I just have dreams where people are trying to kill me and I have to like brutally murder them to get away.
I think I was having those dreams just because Slade had such a Marvel obsession, and my room was covered in it because we shared a room. And so I think like a lot of times the last thing I would think of would be like superheroes is the last thing I see. And I know like whenever you go to bed, the last thing you think of you have a 15% chance usually of that like, making its way into your dream.
Have you ever been killed in a dream?
I think I've been really close to dying a lot of times.
I got straight up shot one time in a dream, and I woke up immediately.
Yeah, I have. Well, every time I've died, I've woken up immediately.
Yeah.
So like, if you've been hurt to the point where it wakes you up, yeah. That Batman one, I was following some my dad, my biological dad, was in the dream, and I was following him at the South Plains Fair, and he had like some mobsters that were following him because they like owed him money. And so I was like watching from like a distance.
Yeah.
And once I'd figured out like, you know, like how they had like the really big warehouse that have all the art pieces, he had like gone in there. And so I'd followed him, and it was like a trap. And there was this big dude who I assume was supposed to be like a Bane type figure. And I went and like threw a few punches, nothing.
Damn.
And homeboy like punched me once in the stomach. I lost all my breath. And I like threw a battering at him, bounced off of him.
Fuck.
And I was like, I'm out of here. And I got a grapple hook. He like just grabbed it, crushed it, picked me up by my leg while I was standing, and just flipped me and right against a brick wall.
Good God.
My ribs, I felt like they shattered.
Yeah.
It woke me up
And you just
instantly.
woke up.
That and the car are the ones I remember the most of it being such a sharp thing where I woke up instantly.
I do remember one time I had a dream where I was with my mom in some like house that was not any house that I recognized, and the lighting was like very overly warm, like it was like TV or something, like it was really weird. And and she was like making something, like some kind of craft or something, and some guy like kicked in the door and came in, had like a fucking pistol and like pointed it at my mom, and I like stood in between them and said something to him, and he just fucking shot me. And I just remember it was really fucking loud, and really there was like a bright flash, and then I just like woke up and was just like
Maybe you died in another world.
maybe.
The thing I think about the thing I dream about the most is growing up I had that haunted house in Plainview, which I think it would be stupid for me not to say that it like scarred me in some way because of how often I dream about it.
Yeah.
Easily 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Easily. And it's always the same. I always end up in Plainview and end up walking around a few blocks to try to find it. And once I find it, I end up destroying the house. So the last dream I had was there was this really cool like house party, and there were just people everywhere. People sitting on this roof of this house, people outside drinking, people like listening to music. It was a huge thing, like lots of people.
Yeah.
And I remember like sitting on the roof and then me going like, I'm like over this party, I'm gonna leave. I ended up like walking like around a lot of like the neighborhood, and I was like, I'm Plainview. I found the house. I find the house. I'm like, man, fuck this house, because it's every time I dream about it, it's like has this energy to it where it like, still feels haunted in my dream.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Minecraft cave noises. Like you just look at it, it's very much just like echoing, hollow, empty, wet sounding place. And I saw that it had like an open house schedule and like somebody was supposed to move into it. And so I just took a bunch of stuff into the house and started destroying the house.
Nice.
And I just don't know why, but I was like 8, 9 maybe when I lived in that house. And
very
it's like,
long time
I'm like
ago.
21 now. And
Yeah.
I still dream about that house.
That's crazy.
And sometimes it's something like that. Sometimes it's like I am having some of the experiences of when I lived in that house, but like,
yeah.
what's that one story you told me about the pig nose girl?
Oh God.
That is
When
that
I
is
was-
one of my favorite like stories, because that's so like having something so peculiar like that where it's like so specific
That
you
was-
almost can't make it up.
That was very real. I'll tell that one again because that was on like one of our
Old ones,
old
yeah.
like previous podcast stuff we did. Yeah. So when I was 5.
Oh, actually, hold on. Before you get into this, if you're looking for our old podcast episodes, Spotify removed them. Kind of explained it. When you kind of re-establish a show or like restart your payments on it, they create a new show for you.
Yeah.
And they deleted the old ones. We have them on our YouTube channel. They're archived. We'll republish them eventually. But if you're looking for those, sorry,
Yeah.
they're gone. Not anything we can really do about it.
Kind of trying to move past that stuff anyways, which we're probably going to retell some of the stories that we retold on 806 horror stories anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about my little spooky stories all the time.
Maybe not all in one go,
I
but
really want to go on a road trip too soon.
Yeah.
We were talking about like open fields at night, and I'm just like really craving a road trip.
yeah. But this is one of the stories that I told on that episode though, so if you've already heard it, then
Go
sorry,
ahead and skip
but,
10 minutes or so.
it won't be that long. It'll be like it's a short story, honestly. So when I was 5, no, I was 4 actually. I was really young. We lived in this apartment. It was in Arizona. That's how I know I was 4, because I briefly lived in Arizona for like a really brief amount of time when I was a kid. So it was me and my mom and my stepdad. It was before any of my sisters were born or anything. And we lived in this little apartment. I actually really liked it there. I had a lot of friends around there that I would hang out with and stuff. One of my friends had a Nintendo 64.
Ooh.
And we would play Mario 64 all the time, and it was
I
fun
don't know
as
if I've
fuck.
ever actually played a Mario 64 except for the models they would have at like McDonald's.
Yeah. I never really played it. I would kind of just run around outside and be like, whoa, 3D shit, this is cool. I'm 4, you know. But anyways, that's off topic. So I really liked this apartment. And while we lived there, I just would wake up all the time in the middle of the night, because I just remember it would feel like someone would grab me or touch me or something. Like someone would I would feel a hand grab mine or something, very real, tangible feeling like that, and I would just freak out and start screaming or something. And my mom or my stepdad, or they'd both come in and be like, what? And I'd tell them, and I will give them credit, they took me very seriously. They didn't write it off completely. They also weren't oh yeah, you should be scared or whatever, but
Yeah.
like they weren't like that didn't happen, like
Yeah.
whatever, like they would just comfort me and try to help me go back to sleep and like let me keep the light on and like whatever. Um, but I would have these dreams. It was always like a very like very surreal like white glowing background with a little girl in a white dress and like brown hair and everything that would just kind of run around and like giggle and stuff and like not really do anything specific, but she had a pig nose. She was like a normal looking little girl, but she had a very distinct like not like her nose wasn't turned up, like she had a pig nose like
Yeah, like
on
the
her face. And it was really weird, and I would have this dream like almost every night if I remember correctly. Like it was very consistent, and it wasn't particularly scary. It was just a
yeah,
little
it's
girl with a pig
strange.
nose, and I was too young to be like, oh, that's weird that I'm having this dream every night, like
Yeah.
whatever. Um, but then one day I mentioned it to my mom and my stepdad, and I swear to God, they both looked at each other just like horrified. It's the best way that I can put it. And if I remember correctly, we moved out of that apartment not too long after that. My mom and my stepdad are pretty like religious people. So like basically what I found out when I was a little bit older was that they were having the same dream, both of them. Were seeing that, or they had seen her in the house or something like that. Like both of them knew what I was describing.
Yeah.
Like it
I
was,
think that's easily that's the scariest part
yeah.
of when you realizing you're living in a haunted house. Because I've also talked about a lot of my ghost stories on the older ones, but I love talking about it just because I have studied ghost things and demon thingies, and because I come from what was a really religious home,
Yeah.
to now I'm pretty like open minded about all religions, but
Yeah.
I have a lot of books on these type of things, and I love
Right.
studying these type of things, and I practice some of the witchy stuff here and there, and I remember because when I was 3, as a child, when you're a kid, you're more open to seeing these things.
Yeah.
And I
Definitely.
don't know why. I have no explanation to why these things show up more when you're a kid, but they do.
Yeah.
When I was 3, I lived in a house. My biological parents were still married.
Oh wow.
So this is like, I was living with my siblings. This is like crazy to me. And we had a 3-bedroom house. The girls would sleep in one room, and my brother and me in the other, and then my parents in one other room. But me and my brother's room was a lot smaller than the other rooms. So sometimes we would play Super Smash Brothers Melee.
What's
and
that,
the
like a
loser,
video game?
Yeah,
That's cool.
you've never played.
What was it?
Super
Super
Brothers.
Smash Brothers?
Melee?
Melee?
Yeah.
No, I've never heard of that.
Okay. I think it's time to cancel the show. But we'd play, and the loser would have to sleep on the couch.
Ah, nice.
I was 3.
Yeah. So you
How
were
the
always,
fuck am I gonna win?
Yeah.
So
But you probably thought it was fair
I put a
at the
whole
time.
fist in my mouth and think I'm winning, dude. Like,
Yeah.
so I was always sleeping on, and it's so. This is so traumatizing to me because it was my first experience with anything supernatural. I can tell you
Yeah.
exactly what everything. It was really cold. There was carpet. I had this wooden table right next to the couch. The couch, my brother-in-law still has it. It's this very tan couch with like very New Mexican. It was like has like these red triangles all over it. It's really big and comfy.
Right.
And we still have that couch in our family, which is crazy. And I had a Power Rangers Time Force pillow and an Ultimate Spider-Man comforter. That was my blanket.
Nice.
And it
I
was
had Ultimate Spider-Man sheets.
and it was the middle of the night, and I woke up because there was this really bright light coming from the bathroom down the hall. So there was like a bathroom in the middle of the 2 rooms, and then a hallway, kitchen, and then their bedroom, and the couch is like right in front of the hallway.
Okay.
I looked down the hallway, I look in the bathroom, and the light's on, and I remember being like, oh, it's my brother Kyle. I said, Kyle? Kyle? And the door opened. It swung open. Not super aggressively, but more than like somebody like opening it. It was like, whoosh.
Yeah.
Nobody's in the bathroom.
Oh.
And I went, oh. And I like started like pulling the blanket over me, and the lights shut off, and I heard footsteps because it goes from hardwood to carpet. and then no footsteps. And I just like held my breath until I passed out. And since then, I had started seeing shadow people, which is really common for kids to see, and they're attracted to domestic issues in the house.
Right.
My parents were going through a divorce and didn't tell anybody. My dad was really abusive. You got the formula for it. And I remember...
Here's your spooky episode.
Yeah, I remember the first time it became an issue was they were showing the house to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
And so like people would come over to look at the house, and I was supposed to like be good, like sit down and shut up and stuff. And
put your dick away.
Yeah,
Sam, put your dick away.
We talked about this. In your fucking Invader Zim pajama pants, put it up. And I saw a shadow person run into my room. I shouted at it.
Oh yeah.
I went, "Hey you!" And I ran at it.
Nice.
In this house full of people.
Nice.
And then there was nothing in my room. I just looked like an idiot.
Yeah.
And then we sold the house, and I had significantly more spooky experiences in my life.
I love that energy. I've done that before. Well, not that ballsy, but there was one apartment that we lived in when I was a bit older, like 11 or 12, that was definitely haunted. And my lights used to just like turn on, and like the light switch would just like flip on. And there was one time that it happened while I was sleeping. It was usually at the same time every night too. It was like 3:32, like almost every time. And like there was one night where it happened, and it freaked me out. Like I was fucking scared, of course. But one time it happened, and I went, "Can you stop? Can you just stop, please? I'm just trying to sleep." And then I got up and turned off the lights, and then I didn't sleep for the rest of that night because like every time it happened, I couldn't fall back asleep. And so I just laid there like mad for the rest of the night.
My girlfriend attracts these fucking things.
Really?
They're never dangerous or mean.
Yeah.
But God fucking damn, dude. All the time. All the fucking time.
Yeah.
So my last experience until I started dating this person was I was showering in the old house that we hated, that we started recording in. I had to get up early for work. It's like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm showering. I'm like really close to like the shower head. I got the shampoo in. The worst possible time for anything to happen.
Yeah.
And that house was haunted because it was always a little boy trying to play pranks on me. There was a few times he'd walk past my door and it'd freak me out while I was playing games and stuff. And I'm fucking showering, and that's like my worst fear because I hate this shit. He knew I hated this shit. I vocally said out loud I hated this shit. I think that's why he did it.
Yeah.
I said, man, we were talking on the podcast. I was like, I hate loud things that come out of nowhere. It scares me, and sound scares me. This little bitch went, and I'm calling you a little bitch if you hear me. Come fucking throw some hands, dude. Like, I'm showering, and I hear aggressively and loud as fuck a little kid scream, "Hey," so loud, so close to me, and I know it wasn't fake because it was so loud. My heart was fucking racing,
Jesus.
And I pulled the shower curtain back so fast. And the fact that it was early in the morning, I was kind of groggy. The only reason I'm like, yes, this happened, yes, it was real, is because I felt my heart to be like, is my heart racing? Okay, if my heart's racing, I didn't imagine it.
Yeah.
And then the fact that I pulled the shower curtain back meant that like I heard it. You know?
Yeah.
So that's like two like check marks that like this happened. And I went, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And I like finished my shower and just left angrily. And then after that, I went to spend the night at my girlfriend's house playing something or watching me. I don't remember. I remember I was playing Apex. And I was with Slade playing Apex. I felt this big person hug me.
Oh.
And I went, and so I looked behind me and I went, "Oh God," because she was on her bed. And I went, "Bro, did you touch me?" And she went, "What?" And I went, "Did you touch me?" And she was like, "No." And I was like, "Bro, what the fuck just hugged me?"
What the hell?
And then I felt something rub against my leg one time, and I went, "Okay, I'm gonna ignore that." And while I was playing D&D with a friend who was also at that house, I just heard a cat meow. It was like really loud. I thought it was like a cat outside or something. But the only outside part of her apartment is the pool. So it's like in the middle of all these apartments. There's like no cats out there.
Yeah.
But I thought maybe somebody had a cat. Later that night, she's like, "Oh, there's a black cat that lives here now." And I was like, "Oh, like around your apartment?" She's like, "No, like a spirit." And I went, "What? hadn't told her that I heard a meow in the middle of her room earlier that day. And she was like, yeah, in my apartment. I don't know. Like, I see it in the kitchen a lot. I was like, oh, I heard that earlier today.
Nice.
And then in the middle of the night one time, I woke up to something growling. Not like at me, but it was like growling.
That was me.
It wasn't like a super scary growl, but it was like a dog when you try to touch its bone. And I was just like, looked around and was like, oh, that's fucking weird. And I went back to sleep. So
My bad.
all the fucking time, dude. And she's always like, yeah, I see people all the time in your kitchen. And I'm like, in my apartment? Are you like, this place is like brand new. What do you mean in my apartment? And she's like, oh, no, they don't live here. They just follow me around. I'm like, oh, cool. So when we hang out, you just have... He's really nice. He's like tall with brown hair and an orange jacket. And I'm like, that's great. He's like making some toast. I'm like, oh, now he's using my food? He doesn't pay any fucking bills. Why are they here?
You see a piece of toast just like floating, like buttering itself. You're like, come on, man.
Come on!
You don't pay rent.
You don't buy that shit. It's the last piece of toast. She's like, she's like, does your house ever feel weird? I'm like, no, why? She's like, something definitely lives here. And I go,
yeah, me.
I do. And she's like, yeah, Merlin. She's like, no, I think it's Tommy. I looked at Tommy. I go, it's not Tommy. And she's like, what do you mean? Look at him. You said that was like a thing. I was like, no, Tommy is not a thing. Tommy's just a painting. The joke is that I've turned him into a thing.
Yeah.
I was like, I know the person that painted it. He's not an old painting. He's creepy, and it makes people uncomfortable. That's why I have him.
Yeah.
I called him Tommy. It's funny. He's upside down,
Yeah, so it looks like
it's goofy.
falling.
He's goofy. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I never think he's there. Plus, the joke is that Tommy goes to law school.
Yeah.
And that he's just chilling.
Yeah.
And Tommy, if you are something, I love you. I'm not going to let people talk to you like that.
Hell yeah. Stand up for what you believe in.
Oh, homeboy Tommy don't deserve this shit. He already gets picked on for his cake. Look at that.
My man's does have some cheeks.
It's like a fucking boogie board.
Yeah.
It does.
I just want to ride that thing.
Get on that boogie board.
Get on that boogie board.
So, fuck the spooky things. Your favorite sandwich.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. What's yours?
The fast food? Or just restaurant?
Yeah,
sandwich?
best fast food sandwich.
Five Guys has a really mean grilled cheese.
Is Five Guys fast food, though? They don't.
Burgers and fries.
Okay, but it has to have a drive-through.
That's the rule.
Yeah.
Taco Bell quesadilla.
That's not a sandwich.
Sandwich or soup?
That's not
Which one is it?
We're not playing this. Pick an actual sandwich, you fuck.
Okay. Subway doesn't count. Because all sandwiches.
Yeah. Subway doesn't count. If Subway counted, I'd go with Subway.
My favorite fast food sandwich. I don't eat fast food sandwiches super often.
Yeah. That's a hard one.
That's a tough one.
At one point in my life, it would have probably been like the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich.
Ooh, I'm full of it.
But I don't fuck with that no more.
I hate that shit. I got a spicy one not too long ago. It's so gross.
Yeah.
Actually, the Wendy's honey butter chicken biscuit for breakfast. Holy shit. Super good, super melty, always fresh. And their like hash browns are like spicy because they put so much pepper on it. And I love that shit.
Yeah.
Get it with a lemonade. Goddamn.
Nice.
But I really wish I could just get that shit for lunch.
Yeah.
Because like I don't want something that hearty for breakfast all the time.
Yeah. I like eating really small breakfasts.
Yeah, I've started just doing like a piece of toast with like the chunky peanut butter and a little bit of honey on it. It's really good.
That's pretty cool.
Is it what I eat for breakfast? Is it cool?
I mean,
does it really make you go, wow, that's cool?
I am proud of you for eating breakfast.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot healthier.
I'm proud of the fact that you're eating is honestly what it is. I had something saved in my phone that I wanted to tell you about. I don't remember where it was. Let me go see if I can find it.
Man, what an episode we talked about. What a transition, man.
What a transition.
From like the
I don't remember what
waffle stomping dookies to ghost stories again.
What are we at right now?
We can cut it pretty soon.
What are we at?
We're at 50.
50? We can go for an hour. We can talk about some bullshit for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that, but we don't ever have to force it.
That's true. That's true.
I'm cool with like a 50 to an hour.
Oh, yeah, me too. Is there anything else interesting going on in your life? I feel like we're going to finish the episode.
Yes, the fuck there is.
Okay.
My favorite fucking band on the planet Earth. I would fucking die for these guys. My prized possessions.
Yes.
Anamanaguchi.
Yes, I know.
I love you guys. You guys are so fucking great. I've loved y'all since 2013, dog.
That's a long time.
Saw y'all live.
Wow.
Met all of you. Got
Wow.
photos with all of you.
Wow.
You guys signed
Wow.
my USA album.
Yeah, the USA album.
I bought the first one that went on sale in America.
Oh, shit.
So it was in Dallas, Texas, and it was right before we started that job together.
Mm-hmm.
I literally met with my other friend Eric, and we got pre-sale tickets because there was no way I was gonna fucking miss this.
Yeah.
This was way before COVID, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Good year for me, kind of.
An okay
It was
year.
an okay year, and no one else had like got pre-sale tickets. They were $25 for the pre-sale tickets. No one else
Right.
bought them, which meant you could go in the venue early. And so we went. I go in there. I got straight to the merch table because I was like, I have wanted. It's funny because I have 4 Anamanaguchi albums hanging on my wall now. At this
Yeah.
time, I had 0. This is December of 2019. I had 0, so it wasn't really that long ago. And I was like, "Do you guys have any vinyls?" She wasn't even done unpacking the merch, dude. I was like, "Do you have any at all? I really want Endless Fantasy or Dawn Metropolis, please." And she was like, "All we have is USA," which is the new one, which not my favorite. Probably placed it like towards the bottom. Still really good, but
Yeah.
just not my favorite
Just not
album.
your favorite. Yeah.
And she was like, "Yeah," and she was like, "Oh, this is the first batch that we got. We haven't sold any yet. We're selling them on the tour. They're a limited run, and they're black and green, like tie-dyed vinyls." And I was like, "That is really cool." I was ready to spend like $80 on this bitch. She was like, "Yeah, $20." Caught that so fast. She's like, "That's the first one, so great." And I was like, "Oh, awesome."
That's awesome.
I go in the room. I had to see the whole band hanging out. Got to enjoy some really good stuff with them. Got to hang out with them, talk to them, meet them. When you meet your favorite band, and this is my favorite band.
Yeah.
If you were like, I've seen them once already and got to meet them. If you said, "Sam, you could meet all of Blink-182, who is tattooed on my arm,"
Right.
or just see Anamanaguchi a second time, I'd see Anamanaguchi. Like, no contest.
Yeah.
Like, over all of my other bands, like, they're so, like, I don't want to say underground or not professional because they are, but they're so, like, real.
Yeah.
Like, they're real people.
Well, and they're not like some
And
big,
they're not
massive
huge, but
band, like,
they're big enough to, like, they tour, and they've been on Adult Swim a lot, and they're, they made the soundtrack to my favorite game, really involved with Scott Pilgrim stuff.
yeah.
Really just fucking nice guys. Their aesthetic is obviously bled into my lifestyle. Like, they're just amazing. I get them, I'm like, "Oh, dude, would it be a lot to get you to sign this album?" And he was like, "Oh, shit, I haven't even seen one of these before. This is the first one I'm signing."
Nice.
I was like, "Oh, my God, yes, thank you, Pete." Did not have a pen or a Sharpie. I was like, fuck. This chick next to me who's, like, working on the soundboard goes, "Oh, I got a Sharpie. Here you go."
Fuck yeah.
Unopen it, fucking sign that shit. I'm having to hold on to it the whole time. I'm,
Yeah.
like, scared
I don't
because
have
I'm
anywhere
like,
to put that shit.
I had to make it through this whole show with this vinyl.
Yeah.
Well, the way the venue was laid out, it was I'm sorry, it wasn't December, it was October.
Oh,
So it was very spooky.
Nice.
And it was like there was like Halloween lights and everything. And on the stage they had this giant inflatable dragon, and they were playing like anime music. And the way it was set up, it was a theater, but there was no seats. But there were like when you sit at like Alamo Draft House, how the kind of tables they have. They're all connected like that, but a little in front of you for you to put stuff on, and then you have a lot of room to like dance and like move and stuff.
Yeah.
So I sat it there, folded up in my hoodie, put it down. No one touched it the whole show.
Nice. And you
great.
could like pretty much
Yeah.
see it the whole time.
And I had so much room, in fact, that I was able to stand on the thing that my vinyl was sitting on, and I didn't touch it.
Nice.
Because at one point, like, we stood on top of it and like ripped some lights and like went crazy, moshed. I made a lot of friends, and so they're great. I got the USA album. It's framed, it's signed, and then shortly after, a really good friend of mine had bought me the Endless Fantasy album, first edition, packaged, unopened. That shit came out 2014.
Wow.
So having that's insane, and like my favorite gift, it was like $300 something, dude. God damn, shit's not cheap because they're limited run.
Shit, Eric.
Like they're like, no, it wasn't Eric.
Oh, it wasn't?
No.
Who was it?
Yeah.
Damn.
Right? I did not deserve that shit.
I thought for some reason you had said your friend that you were at the show with. So
Oh no, it's just a really close friend.
yeah. Holy shit.
Thank you so much. It's literally like my prized possession, like ever. Like out of everything I own, it's up there. I mean, obviously the signed one a little more because it's signed, but
Right.
So got that, and then have been keeping the eye out for the Scott Pilgrim one because it's made by Ubisoft. Ubisoft had lost the license, but they took the game off the marketplace.
Right.
Hard to find, dude.
Which
Like yeah, I'll get to it.
Dude, I was so excited when I saw that for you. I'm talking.
I
I
almost
couldn't
cried, dog.
watch the trailer because I was at work. I watched it when I got home.
Yeah.
But I saw you send that, and I was just like,
I almost
so
I
happy for
I was in the middle of like a meeting.
yeah.
I was like, I'll be right back. So anyway, this guy at the venue had every album they had, and he was getting them all signed. I was so jealous. I was like, wow. And like left. Got Endless Fantasy for Christmas. Managed to snag the Scott Pilgrim one off of Polyvinyl, which if you don't have Polyvinyl and you like to collect vinyls, sign up. It's a website. Basically, you can put, if you look up a band, let's say like Dance Gavin Dance, they'll show you everything they've put out, like merch-wise, like music merch-wise. So CDs, if they do cassettes, vinyls and stuff, they show you the editions, market price, what they sell for, if anyone's selling them, at what price. So you can kind of put your collection on a website, and then it tells you how much your collection's worth.
Nice.
And Anwamaguchi is one of the main bands signed up through there, so that's how you get a lot of their merch. Somebody was selling the Scott Pilgrim album, which usually sells for about $200. Didn't know what he had. He sold it for like 50 something bucks. I snagged it.
Nice.
So I was like, fuck yeah, I've got 3. Awesome. So then I subscribed to Anwamaguchi's Patreon just because I want to support them. I only give them like $5 a month. It's not a lot. The Patreon gives me songs early, merch, coupons. I can get merch early.
And you're supporting your favorite band.
And I can directly chat to them.
That's awesome.
You can send them DMs.
That's
I have not yet, but I have a plan.
You
have a plan. So they were like, hey, we found some really old touring video pictures. We're going to show you guys. It was the Dawn Metropolis, their first album. It was like a bunch of them, like in vinyls, and they had like 50 of them, only made 50. And as someone who did music and knew what it was like to kind of make merch, I was like, wow, that's a lot of money. To like, dude, he was like 18, 19 when they toured the first time. It was crazy. Damn. And it was like, he had like stacked them, and he was like, yeah, and it was like really cool. And I was like, man, I literally commented on their post. I was like, I would kill for you guys to put these back out again. And so a few minutes before the Scott Pilgrim trailer got posted, they posted this double thing on Polyvinyl. It said pre-order now. It was Power Supply, which is their first EP, but on vinyl. They call it the Famicom edition because it's colored like an original Nintendo cartridge. It's red and white, splattered all over the vinyl. I was like, oh fuck, I gotta get that. Pre-ordered that one on spot, and I said, pre-order this one, Dawn Metropolis. They remastered it.
Ooh.
And I was like, holy shit. Pre-ordered both without question. Didn't even check my bank balance. Was just like, there you go, take it. And they were like, sweet, you're all set. Well, a few months before, I was like, man, I wish I could listen to Endless Fantasy. I think right after I got it for Christmas, they were like, hey, we're re-putting out Endless Fantasy, only 200 copies, snag yours. It's got a bonus track that was only released in Japan.
Nice.
Pre-ordered that too. So I have everything they've ever put out on vinyl, either on its way or already in my room.
Fuck yeah.
And I have not messaged them, but what I want to do is I'm going to take a picture of all my vinyls and be like what it looks like. I'm going to take another picture of what it feels like, and it's Thanos putting the last Infinity Stone in his gauntlet. I'm going to put all the albums on his glove. Nice. I'm just going to send it to him and be like, yeah, like, you know what it's about.
Yeah. I bet they'll love that.
That's great. When I don't use Twitter anymore, but when I used Twitter, they had taken a video of me and the guys moshing on we were on the second floor of the venue. Not the floor, but the second row, and they gave us a shout out. It was really cool. But they're really great guys, and I'm really excited. It's the only other entertaining thing that's happened in my life.
Nice. I'm happy for you.
Hey, that was exactly what we needed. That was a long enough tangent to kill it. But yeah, I'm in a great mood because of that. I just love them. It's great to love a band that loves their community so much. About them. They're just so great.
You just get so like happy when you talk about
They've
them.
done videos of Polygon, and I think that's when I realized like I was really, really about them. Because it was just like watching two best friends like live in an apartment together, and they're like, we do this job to pay rent, but we love this. And I get that struggle because that's what we're about. Like even here, like we work 2 jobs that, you know, we don't mind, but I'd rather do this all the time. I'd rather just create things. We want to write books and direct movies and make games and be creative and do porn. Yeah, porn's a really big part that we want to do, but it's all about taking off first. Yeah. Taking off those pants first.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm just kind of weird about the whole porn thing because like it's unreasonably small.
The industry is unreasonably small. Yeah, but it's growing, so I think we can.
Yeah, it's always growing, always getting bigger.
Consistently.
It's kind of painful. Please help. Please help me.
You like have to put it in a wheelchair.
Please help
me. Around.
All right.
If you hold on, one question.
Okay.
If you could. How tall are you?
Like 5'9", 5.
Okay, I'm like 5'7", so that makes sense. If you could donate an inch of your height to give it to me, would you?
I've heard this conversation elsewhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd do that for you. Yeah.
How many inches would you donate before it's too many?
I'd give you 1, and then we'd be like the same height.
Yeah.
Right?
You're right. Yeah.
I don't want to be an inch shorter, but I'd do that for you.
Damn. Thanks, dog.
I'd give you an
I
inch.
wouldn't give anybody an inch of anything. I'm too short.
I mean, and that's fair. But I would take one for the team and equalize
5'7"
us.
is like just tall enough for it to not be embarrassing, but just short enough for you to not be taken seriously.
Yeah, definitely. Would you take an inch off of your dick to add an inch to your height?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I really would. Yeah.
I don't know if I would. Yeah,
I
I'd
would.
probably do that.
I would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could swing for that. That would leave me with a
That'd put me at
12 inches down there.
-1, but like that's good enough for me. Thanks for checking it out, guys. Please like and subscribe. We would really
Please.
appreciate it. If you guys are on
Pretty
Spotify, just keep listening. We really appreciate you guys.
Also, if you're on Spotify, just hit the little link to our YouTube channel and maybe like subscribe.
Subscribe.
Throw
That'd
us
be
a
really
bone.
great.
Even if you're not into like Let's Plays and you listen to
Yeah,
podcasts on
we're gonna do
Spotify,
other stuff too.
the more people that subscribe and the more people that show interest in this and the more we grow, the more we can put into this. You know?
Yeah, and
So,
that's really just what we want to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks guys.